At the local Gov Drupal accessibility meetup last week, Michael Doyle from Big Blue Door gave a really interesting presentation on accessibility testing tools using Lighthouse and using Wave and those kind of automated manners of testing our websites. One of the questions that came up then was, is it possible to test more than one URL at a time? So rather than going to a URL you want to check, like your homepage, and clicking the Wave tool or clicking the Axe tool or clicking Lighthouse, and then going to the next page, maybe your contact page or whatever, and checking that. Is there a way to do that for multiple URLs all at the same time? So I was saying there is, but you need to use the Axe core NPM package. So I decided to put together a small proof of concept of how we can check multiple URLs in one go to get an accessibility report for all those pages. So if we look here, we've got this accessibility report. We've got a very short summary that we tested 2 URLs and 1 URL was found to have an accessibility violation, which means 50% of the URLs tested have an issue. So the page that we tested had an issue was mark.ie/about. And the accessibility violation we found was there's a color contrast issue. So the link that says get in contact on the about page does not have enough contrast between the foreground color, which is this, and the background color, which is white. Let's maybe open up that page for a second. So it's this one here, about me, and get in contact, that's this here. So this blue is not dark enough against the white background. Okay. I might just zoom in a small bit here. Okay, so to do this, well, first off, there's I put this on GitHub. So if you go to Mark Conroy/Axtor, I'm calling it Axtor because we're going to throw a few URLs at the Axe core library, get them tested. It tells you what to do. So you can git clone this repo, run npm install. There's a file called example.urls.json. So copy that and call it urls.json, and then put whatever URLs you want to test in there, and then run npm start, and we get an index.html file to see the report. That's this file here. Let's have a quick look at what's on Visual Studio Code. So we've got package.json. So all this does is goes and gets Axe core, which is the accessibility testing tool, and then Puppeteer, which is the headless browser. We've got example.urls.json here, so I've put in 3 example.com /about and /blog. So we rename this as urls.json. So like here, I've got 2, mark.ie and mark.ie/about. When we run npm start, then what it will do is it will create a violations.json file, which will give us all the violations that we have. So we can see here we tested 2 URLs, and here's the issues that showed up. So on this page we had a color contrast issue. I won't go through the actual code itself of how it works. So it's a small Node app. It gets the urls.json. It loads a headless browser, and then it finds, we'll say it finds stuff. We don't need to go through all the actual details of that. You can see that yourselves. And it writes the output of that then to a file called violations.json. So this is a fairly simple implementation of, but you can see we could add as many more items as we wanted into this. So after we do that, it creates we've got a HTML an index.html file, and this is just the report page. So it's got a header with a title and a link to the summary and violations tabs. It's got a main section here with nothing in it. We'll inject our report into this, and then it's got a footer just to say that it was created by myself and Big Blue Door. And then we've got a JavaScript file here that goes and fetches the violations.json file, finds out how many violations we had of our color contrast, and here then we'll add in more types then, so we can for not color contrast, for form label missing or whatever that's called, and for alt tag, if there's violations of alt tags on images, things like that. So we could add as many of those as we want. This is again just a kind of proof of concept for us. And then it creates the HTML that goes inside the app div we saw a minute ago to show you all the different issues that we've got. So if we Let me close this for 1 second. If we look at urls.json, so in here I've got two, so that's if we put in some more. So there's my blog page and maybe this page here. Now I know there's going to be accessibility issues on these as well. They're going to be the exact same as the one we had on this, that blue doesn't have enough contrast against the white. But let's just try run those. So npm run start, or npm start is testing 4 URLs. Here's the URLs that it's testing, and now it's updated violations.json here. So now we can see this file is a lot bigger. And if we come back to our accessibility report, we can see now that we tested 4 URLs, 2 have accessibility violations. That's 50% of the URLs tested. Here's the 2 pages that have issues with them, the about page and this DrupalCamp presentation I gave a couple of years back. So we found 8 color contrast issues across these tested pages. On the about page, we found 1, which was the get in contact, which we've seen already. And then on this page here, we've got a number of them. So we've got a link for DrupalCamp, DrupalCamp London, Photoshop, InVision, and I know where all these are. These are the exact same things down here at the bottom. So you can see it filed under these tags. So again, I need to fix this up. I need to make this link color darker, so then we'll have no violations there. And then if you go to another website, like there's one called arngren.net. This is kind of fun. So you can look at this and you can presume we'll have lots of violations on this one. So again, we go to urls.json and we pop in arngren.net, and again we'll run npm start. So now we're testing 5 URLs this time. So we're testing my 4 from my site and then arngren.net itself. So this is going to take a bit longer because there's so many violations in it. It's got to go through them and update the file. You can see the file now is massive. So this goes on for a long time. If we come back then and we refresh our accessibility report, we've now 129 color contrast issues, and you can see where they all are on this arngren.net website. But it's pretty cool then as well. It tells you what the issues, but it also gives us the selector of where we will find that problem. So if you look here, there's a div or something that has ID E5, and just inside that there's a div with a class of text, and just inside that there's a link, and just inside that there's a bold item, and inside that there's a font tag, and inside that there's a span, and that span, that's where the issue is. So we know that the issue with that span is that the color contrast ratio is 3.99 to 1, and we needed to be 4.5 to 1. So the foreground color is FF000. I think is it yellow, and the background color is white. So there's not enough contrast between one and the other. But that's it. We can put as many URLs as we want into urls.json, and then we can add to the script that checks for the different violations we get, because all the violations will be in here for us. We just need to parse them. I can't. There's so many on this one here. I can't even find them all now. So that's it. That's a brief overview of how to create a small site that will give you a report of as many URLs as you want. I think it might be interesting to expand it a small bit, that you can just throw your sitemap.xml file at it, and whatever's in your sitemap, it will go and test it and pop out this report for you. And then I guess we could do a nicer design to make this just look better and be easier to follow. But that's it, and thanks so much to Big Blue Door for sponsoring time to work on this.